Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Est-ce que vous allez bien? How are you guys? Yes? I hope you're well, because this is a great event. It's a bit fresh, so I'm going to try to warm you up. The last time I was in this room, there was the Olympics of fencing. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to watch fencers competing here under this stage, and they were going down from those steps. So for me, going down those steps to come here for what are the Olympics of AI is a great honor. I want to share with you a couple of things. First, in the 1950s, in Europe, after the Second World War, leaders of Europe decided to make peace by using economic ways and means. It was the economic community of steel and coal. And at that time, that project was a way of saying for European leaders, we're never going to be at war again. We're going to build peace, but we're going to be building peace through the economy. In the 90s, more European leaders decided, at a time where the Berlin Wall had fallen, where we felt then that peace was going to win forever and ever again, to build the single market and the single currency. And again, it was a massive economic project, but that economic project had a political vision, which was Europe can together show a sign of unity at a time where the Berlin Wall had fallen, enlargement was taking place. At that time, 11 and then 12 countries decided to put together the currency in order to produce unity. There's not more than 20 countries sharing that currency. Well, we are at a stage where we are faced with a similar challenge and similar opportunities. We have to build together the Europe that's going to be showing the way of AI, because we can show the way, and that's also going to be showing the way that carbon-free electricity can bring a different kind of AI, that progressive democracy, which is at the heart of European construction, can bring a different kind of AI. And this is what I want to share with you today. Europe can make it. Europe can do it. Europe can show it. And this event is a great way of putting it together. Why am I saying that? You know, in French we say, to do artificial intelligence, you need brains and networks. You need des cerveaux et des serveurs. We have amazing brains in Europe. We have fantastic universities. We have great startups that have started building and that can show that Europe can be on the forefront. And we are building networks. We are building data centers. And more, France and Europe are becoming the place to be. Not the only place to be, but a different kind of place to be. Why? Because we have brains, we have networks, we have data centers. We also have values. And one of the strong convictions I have is that those values, far from being an impediment, far from being a constraint, can actually be a competitive advantage. Last week there was local elections in Denmark, massive cyber attacks. All the parties' websites were down. A week before, in France and in Europe, child pornography dolls were on sale on open-air platforms. We have the ways and means to do in Europe fantastic investment, great productivity enhancement. We can prosper, but we can also protect our citizens against the deviations that those fantastic technological progress are bringing to us. So I'm willing to do my part. The governments are willing to do their parts. And the good news is that France and Germany together are willing to do their parts. I was in Berlin last week with the President and the Chancellor, and they conveyed a very strong message, which is digital sovereignty can actually be a competitive advantage of Europe. Again, not an impediment, a way of enhancing our productivity, a way of investing in the future, a way of having champions that can win the global competition while staying strong and in contact with our values, while protecting and defending the progressive democracy values. We're going to be doing our part. What are you expecting from us? You're expecting cheap and carbon-free electricity. We're working on it. And as a Minister of Economy, Finance, but also in charge of energy, I'm working to make sure that the next few years, we're going to build, again, what our predecessors built 50 years ago. At that time, in the 70s, my predecessors decided to build nuclear power station, which we are enjoying today. We need to do the same. We need to build nuclear power station. We need to build renewable energies to make sure that you guys have cheap carbon-free electricity. We also need to make sure that you guys get proper financing. And when we are pushing against France and Germany for the Capital Markets Union of Europe, we are showing a signal that it's great, the US are fantastic, great deep market, but there's an alternative, probably less volatile market that is existing here in Europe that can help financing your ecosystems. We also have to make sure that regulation exists, that it's not too constraining, but that it is making sure that the rules of law on the internet, that the rules of law in the business-to-business relationship are similar to the ones we have in the real world. We did push forward the Digital Market Act. We did forward the Digital Service Act. We need to make sure that those acts, those rules, apply to everyone, whether they're European or non-European, and we're working on it. But I think, and I'm going to finish with that, we have a challenge together that we need to share. There's thousands of people here who we don't need to convince that AI is at the heart of the future of the next 5, 10, 15, probably 40 years. But anybody who's outside this building needs to be convinced. We need to convince them that AI is not just going to be at the service of entrepreneurs, of productivity enhancement, of our great companies that have been speaking on this stage for the last couple of hours. We need to make sure that they understand what's in it for them as well. Again, on this, we have a role to play. We need to make sure that every day they can have proper examples of why AI is good for them. Use case in the civil service and in the relationship that our citizens have their administration. This is our part. But also your part is to show them that despite the fears, despite the risk of transition in labor, despite the fact of massive shift in sectors that will be winning and sectors that will probably be on the losing side, we are here to accompany them. I know there's a manifesto circulating here that's going to be signed by quite a lot of CEOs. You guys need to make sure that that manifesto is a reality. We need to make sure that adopt AI is not just a slogan that works in B2B, but that adopt AI is also a slogan that works in B2C. See as citizens, not just see as consumers. So I'm very happy to be here with you today because this is a great event. But let's make sure that next year it's even more successful and that outside people could drop by this great palace and say, wow, this is where Adopt AI is. Fantastic place to be and great projects. Thank you very much and have a good day. Thank you.